Hey YouTubers, this is Styrodyne24 here to do another installment on compression testing on my small engine equipment I have in my shop. Right here we have another chainsaw. This is my second chainsaw I've purchased. I have three of them all together. This is an Echo CS330T top handled chainsaw. This is actually an arborist style chainsaw because you would see these saws being put to use by professional tree removal companies because they would send people on lines on special rigging in the trees and actually trim limbs and stuff with these saws because they're extremely lightweight. You don't have to deal with the rear handle, and they pretty much pack a good punch. I mean, this one has the 32cc engine in it, and I picked this up at clearance at Home Depot because this was a previous year's model. The new Echoes out there have black and orange plastic covering and all that stuff. This is gray. This is part of their old models, but for $194, it's a pretty good deal. When you look at still 192Ts are about a little over $300 a piece. The new 201T start at about $589 to over $600. So I mean, there's nothing wrong with buying Echo. Echo's another really good brand of chainsaws. Just like Husqvarna. Husqvarna is another good brand too. That's why I like my 394. Now to do the compression test, all we gotta do is find the spark plug, which is located right next to this ring underneath the air filter. Now I know this saw is going to have a lot of compression on it. I mean, a fairly decent amount of compression. This is a newer saw. I purchased this during last summer, so the saw hasn't been used a whole lot. It's dirty because this thing spits out oil like crazy, and I believe and I was told by mechanic that it's common for these saws to spit out a lot of oil. Plus, also, as I messed up the oil adjusting screw, so I can't really get access to it. As you can see from the dial, it's at 0, and I'm pressing the button, the pressure release button, just to make sure that there's any kind of air or anything like that built up in the machine. And I'm feeling right here where the muffler's at. This is completely cold. My shop is currently, it's about probably 30 degrees out, in the 30s outside, so believe me, this is a cold start. Now with this particular model, there is no primer on it, so pretty much to start this thing, you have to choke it. It probably takes about a good 5 or 6 pulls to get this thing started. That's the only disadvantage about it. It doesn't have a primer on it, which would make this thing run a lot better. Now to get some better leverage, I'm actually going to stand up. Got the operator presence lever down, got the throttle open on full. I'm going to do about 10 pulls or so, and then check the gauge and see what we got. And it's always better to sort of brace it up against something because, like I say, I don't want this gauge going all over the place. So, let's go. After doing I'd say about 13 pulls or so, we're at 150 psi, which is well in operating pressures. So this saw's got a lot of life in it, and plus, since I'm not a demanding tree worker, this saw will do me plenty. And also a word to the wise out there: if you're gonna buy a chainsaw, just spend the extra money and actually buy something that's actually good. I mean, the stuff that they sell at the big box stores like Home Depot, they sell Echo. They may only sell a few, maybe two kinds of Echo chainsaws, which is kind of not doing a good service, because there's a whole bunch of Echo chainsaws out there that are really good. Lowe's sells Husqvarna. The only really good one I think they got there is the 55 Rancher, which is a really nice saw, 55 cc's, equipped with a 20-inch bar and chain, decompression release on it, which is really nice. But, you know, like I say, word to the wise: go to your nearest small engine dealer, Stihl dealer, Husky dealer, Echo dealer, and just get a good chainsaw. Why spend only maybe 150, 160 bucks buying a Sears Craftsman Poulan Home-like chainsaw, which you're not going to get very much use out of because the saws are not that great to begin with anyway. Well, test is done. The saw's in good shape, and y'all have a good one, YouTubers.